Hi, everyone. My name is Emily, and I have two amazing guests this evening. I have Dr. Bonnie and Diane with me tonight. And today we're going to bridge the gap between some Western medicine, they're both registered nurses, to being a wellness practitioner. Because a lot of times I believe that I've seen and also hear from other people, just because you go to a hospital or you go to see a doctor, it's not considered wellness. It's just not, because that's just a one, it's one modality, I guess. I don't know if modality is the right word, but it is one modality that people use to treat someone. It doesn't necessarily hit the root cause. It doesn't necessarily cure people. A lot of times they're just focused very heavily on the symptom. So that's why I wanted to bring Diane and Bonnie on tonight, because they both have so much knowledge. They both have both backgrounds in natural health, wellness, as well as um, being RNs. So they've seen the Western culture. They've been able to see how that intertwines. And Diane has shared with me too that sometimes we think that maybe nurses are some of the healthiest people out there, but they're people just like you and I, right? So we have to always keep that in mind. Just because someone might be in a profession, it doesn't mean that they're practicing what they're preaching necessarily. So welcome so much to the Zoom call. I would love to start with you, Diane, if you want to share a little bit about your background and tell us how you've bridged the gap between being an RN and wellness. And again, this is all focused around Healy.
Okay, so hi guys, I'm Diane, and I have been a nurse for about, I think, 21 years. Most of that time being in a neonatal intensive care nurse. And I love what I do. I absolutely love taking care of the whole family, the baby and the parents. But I guess the question that Emily's asking is how I vision bridging Healy health and wellness and being a nurse. What I see in my profession is a lot of people that are nurses that really care about helping other people, but sometimes don't look at themselves and want to help themselves. They're very giving, very caring, very empathetic people. And a lot of times those types of people don't look at themselves as worthy, like me. I was the same way, like worthy of being taken care of and being healthy. So I think my journey for wellness and healthiness started about the time I had my kids, because once I had my kids, all of my little flaws, I guess, or insecurities, I would say was a better word, really magnified like 10 times. And when you have children and you're in a relationship with someone else, like those little things that you always carry around in the back of your head, they magnify like 10 times. And so that's when I started saying, okay, I need to get healthier and just, I need to look at myself and start taking care of myself. So I am mentally healthy and I can do better for my children, better for my patients, and be a better nurse. So I took that route and I found some counseling. I found a spiritual counselor person. I guess she does heart math and theta healing. And I really took it to the internal level. Like I wanted to get healthy from the inside out. I struggle with anxiety, not being good enough, not feeling like I was good enough. And so I wanted to clear those things, and I wanted to be a healthy and happy and joyful person, like all the time, and feel it from the inside. Like I was good at like pretending like everything's fine, my world's good. I always had a smile on my face. I always like just went along with what everyone wanted me to do. I mean, I just didn't really put up much of a stink. And just in this journey, I've really been finding that I do have a voice, and I deserve to be heard, and that's okay. It's okay not for everyone to love me, and I'm okay with that. But yeah, so that's where I started my healthy journey, and I continue it to this day, and using Healy on an everyday basis. Especially, I've had it for about a month, and I've been using a lot of it on like my I am not enough problem. I've been using it to help me with that. There's some affirmations were given to me, and I've been doing those every day, and it's really helping. Like it's mentally clearing my mind of all that negative talk that I do to myself. So I hope that answered your question.
Yes, thank you. We'll circle back around somewhere, for sure, so we can bridge the
Okay.
gap of what we were talking about tonight. So thank you so much for sharing that. And Dr. Bonnie, can you share with us as well?
Thanks, Emily, for all you do. Thanks, Diane. That was just awesome. Yeah, for sure. You know, I've been about twice as long as Diane has been practicing as far as nurse goes. Last 16 years, though, I've I've gotten my doctorate in natural medicine. When I realized that the 25 years in nursing, they only focus on the physical aspect. So it's managing symptoms. The body is saying something, so let's shut it up. And we're either going to shut it up with a pill or we're going to cut the part out. It wasn't treating the cause. Like Emily, you had mentioned in the very beginning, never addresses the root cause of an illness. When the body starts having a symptom, it's just its language of telling you, hello, there's something wrong here. Look at me, address this. But we don't. In Western culture, we just silence it until it gets to the point where the body is screaming so loud that a crisis occurs. So you either have a heart attack or you develop cancer or serious illnesses because your body just cannot suppress it any longer. So one of the things that I love with Healy is it addresses the information field. It addresses the whole, the analogy that I use with my patients is it's like if you want to make a cake, keep it real simple. You can have all the ingredients out on the counter, but if you don't have a recipe, if you don't have an information there on what to do with all those ingredients and or how much that you need, you're never going to make a cake, ever. And that's the same with our energy field. You have to have information, and that comes from several different sources, be it light, be it electricity, be it magnetism, be it frequencies, vibrations, a whole venue of information. So with the Healy, it allows us to address the distortions, the blockages that are there. So now we have the full recipe. You know, if the recipe's on your counter and you spill something on it and it wipes out 3 or 4 words in a sentence, it can change the whole meaning of the sentence. It's distorted. So you're not going to have the right information. And that's what Healy allows us to do. So it gives people the control. It empowers them now to take the final piece of the puzzle. So you address the physical, the mental, the emotional, the whole being using Healy. That's that final piece, empowering everybody for total health. Real short.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. So I have a couple, well, I'll start with this question. When you think of being a nurse, then, you know, how being in that environment, how did that push both of you to want to discover more about wellness? You know what I
Well,
mean?
working, I mean, I'll go with that. Working in the ICU, in the emergency room, you really, as Diane will attest to as well, you really develop relationships with not only the patient, but the whole family. They're really, you're the liaison with the patient and them. You really develop relationships with them. And they're counting on you to help bring their loved one out of crisis, bring them back to health. And you give them, you get them to that point and you send them home with discharge instructions to do these meds and, da 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 da. And 6 months later, they're back in and they're looking at you like, I thought we address this issue. Now, how come their heart's worse? Or how come their kidneys are worse? Or how come their diabetes isn't in control? And it would 25 years of this over and over and over again. And I just kept saying, there's got to be a better way because we're not helping these people get any better. It's just, something's missing here. What's the missing link? And then that's when I started to study Eastern ways of doing things and realized, oh my goodness, we're only looking at the human body as this physical being that we never address. You don't talk, religion. You don't address any of the spiritual side of things. You certainly don't look at the emotional things. You shove all that down because they're in crisis. They're physically, you need to bring that physical back into homeostasis before you can address anything else. And then they get sent out. They're discharged and you never address that issue. So they keep coming back. And I couldn't do it anymore. It took its toll. It's like, there's a better way and we're not sharing it with people. I can't do this anymore. So it led me to leave nursing and go into natural medicine. And I love it because everyone gets better. It's now exciting.
So what I have to say to that, since I work with a different population, and so we've been seeing just like the moms are not as healthy as they used to be. Moms are just not as healthy as they used to be. So we're getting babies that are premature or small because like hypertension is huge. Hypertension and diabetes is huge in the mother's population. Like, so we get the babies and we see how sick these moms are, just so sick. I mean, I think we have 3 right now that the moms are in ICU right now. So it's like, I totally can connect with what Dr. Bonnie's saying about like unhealthiness of the patients. But I can't speak to seeing the same patients over again because our babies don't usually come back. But what I do see though with our nursing, the nurses that I work with and how we connect to the child or the baby is that we are so busy and stressed out that we really have to take take a time out before we even touch the child, because our energy is going into that baby. If we're stressed out, that is going to go into that little teeny baby that is fighting for its life, right? So we don't want to, so what my practice is at work is to take a time out. I just take like a minute or 2 just to calm myself down, deep breath, think about love, think about caring, think about all the energy, good energy I want to give to this baby when I touch them. So that's what I've done in my practice, because I think that's so important. And you can tell if there's a person that's stressed out and they go in to touch a baby, the baby is freaking out. Yeah. And it's like, and you don't want them to, because you want, like I talked about this before in a different video, but our cortisol levels when we're stressed goes up, and cortisol is really bad for your system. It's bad for every organ, I believe. I'm sure Dr. Bonnie can attest to this. But so yeah, just to bring down those levels and to just take a time out. I just do some breathing. I cup the baby and I just breathe with the baby before I start flipping them over and do a temperature. And I do everything super slow, super gentle, and just so the babies don't have that response, that stress response. You want them to be as least stressed as possible. And I tend to see that my babies usually do really well during the my shifts. They require less oxygen. They're having less heart rate, bradycardia's heart rate goes down, all that kind of stuff. They seem way less stressed. And so that's how I incorporate the health and wellness into the patients that I treat.
Oh, that's
And
so
that's
nice.
not a coincidence. Again, that's the healing touch. That's crucial, and what are we seeing now? We have to 6 feet, distance ourselves from everybody. We're going to see a lot of serious illness coming from all of what we're in right now.
Oh, yeah.
So it's going to even be more important to get more Healys into families. Every family, it should be like everyone has a thermometer in their home. Everyone should have a Healy. It's going to be part of what our wellness program is, and addressing the physical issues you're seeing with moms. I teach in my nutrition classes. We're now into the 4th generation of severe nutritional deficiencies. So, like myself, my parents were 75%. Their parents, my grandparents, weren't deficient. They lived off of their own food. The soils were good, less toxins, blah, 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 blah. My parents were at 75%. I was at 50%.
Oh,
My
geez.
son is at 25%, and he's in his mid 30s. So these kids today, they're severely deficient. They're functioning with 25%. Your newborns are being born with vitamin D levels at 0, 0 to 2 to 4. I mean, I did a 2-year study on vitamin D because it's so critical. And like my grandparents would be fine with D levels because they would get what they needed from their food. They were outdoors, etc. Today, it's not the case, and we're not getting it. So they're sicker in a physical sense, which is, now they're not getting the nutritional energies either from their foods, and it's a whole snowball effect. So wellness is really where we're at today. People are going to be looking for other ways, and Healy is the perfect answer because it ties, again, all those aspects
Yeah.
needed for health. So,
Yeah.
Thank you. So my question then is, how did each of you, either one of you can start, but how did you feel like Healy was your next step with your journey of health and wellness, and with also being in the Western realm, but now obviously, Bonnie, you're focused on natural health, but how did you sort of incorporate that into your practice now? And yeah, if you want to just go
well, I did my postdoctorate work in energy medicine. So I've really studied, like in Pune, India, they have a 1,500 bed hospital that treats people with just energy medicine. And in a 2-week internship that I did, I was really blown away by, they were setting fractures in like 12 seconds. They weren't putting casts on. They were dissolving huge grapefruit-sized tumors in 3.5 minutes. I mean, it was just story after story after story, hundreds and thousands of patients being treated every day with just hands-on touch, with just spirituality, with all different energy frequencies and vibration and whatnot. And I, right from the get-go, have always incorporated using energy medicine in my practice. So what I
Oh no.
Oh, you froze for a minute, Bonnie. We can't
Oh
hear you.
shoot.
Okay, Diane, why don't you go ahead and share, and then Bonnie, when you come back, you can finish because you're frozen
Okay.
still.
So, for me, I've just been incorporating it into my own practice of health and well-being. I don't have a practice, obviously, because I'm a nurse and I can't treat my little ones at my work. But I've just been using the Healy every day, and just I'm strengthening my base and my soul, and getting to be in balance. And the more that I'm in balance, the more that I can communicate to the world that this is working, and it's gonna change lives. And I feel very strongly about that. Like the first time Emily brought this to my attention, I watched the presentation, and I mean, I got chills on my whole body. Like I was like, this is amazing. And the more information, the more I was learning about it, I was like, oh, this is it. This is totally it. I got goosebumps. I just like was so excited to share with people. I mean, it's awesome. I couldn't wait to get mine. I have it, and now I've had it for about a month, and I'm just sharing it with all kinds of people because I know it can help them. And I've had several testimonies where people have been benefiting from the treatments I've been doing remotely on them. And so it's like, it's really exciting. And I think anyone and everyone should have one of these.
I definitely agree. I've been sharing with all of you my new energy that I've been feeling, but here's my newest testimonial that I can share with you. So I usually do yoga a few times a week, go walking a few times a week, but I never am doing like exercise like I used to because I've had this, I don't know how to explain it, but this energy block with my energy. Like I've felt so exhausted in different parts of my day since I've had my two boys, and it's like almost a debilitating exhaustion. Like I just feel like I don't want to feel like this anymore, you know? Okay, so I've used the Healy for at least a month. I'll have to look and see how long for sure. But for the last 4 days in a row, I've been doing the most like the biggest, longest workouts that I've done in a long time. Like I feel like I'm finally pushing through these energy blocks that have held me back for the last almost 6 years. Because I mean, I would go walking for an hour every day, and I mean, of course it's harder with the kids, but like because they're little, but you know, doing yoga twice a week is great, but it just was never enough. So it feels amazing to be spending the last 4 days, and I'm just going to keep going now to like just be pushing through. And the moment I'm feeling like off or imbalanced, then I'm just putting my Healy on again and it's helping me get through it. It's like I'm literally working through this. So that's just kind of what I've been experiencing. Yes, I'm really, really thankful, feeling really thankful right now. And for those of you out there, I just want to give you hope that just because your body is doing A, B, or C, it doesn't mean it has to be like that forever. There's always an option. There's amazing people that can help you. It's just that you have to be willing to help yourself, right? We can all sit here and say that we want to help you, but if you don't have that will and desire, it doesn't matter what we think or what we say. Okay, and thank you, Bonnie. You're back. I'll let you jump in.
Yeah, I got kicked off. I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened. Everything just went black.
Oh,
Froze.
it's just the connection, probably. It's all good. Oh, did you have anything that it cut you right off in the middle of what you were saying? Did you want to add anything?
I'm just saying that everyone was dependent before on me as far as the energy aspect went of their healthcare plan, their wellness plan, because I did have a practitioner unit in my office. And I did use essential oils, and I did use herbs and Bach flower, and I used a whole different homeopathics, tuning forks, crystals, sound, light. But everything that I had wasn't really affordable for people to use at home. Plus, there was a high learning curve for them to understand how a device worked and how to operate it. Healy is a life changer because it's the first of its kind. It's a small, portable unit with over 144,000 frequencies. It's software. Thank you, Diane. That's awesome. It's our smartphone driven. It's so user friendly. I haven't had a single problem with explaining to people how to use it. And just use your intuition. You don't even have to learn. All you have to do is turn it on, hit your, open the app up on your smartphone. And if you feel that the physical being needs to be addressed, then you address that. It's just, I just love it. I just love it that we're able to now have something that's inclusive of all the vibrations and frequencies that I've been using for the past 16 years. It's great.
Right, because like all the things that you've mentioned too, Bonnie, are, as you know, but for everyone watching, is frequency. Bach flowers, we have that in Healy. Like you can get the frequency of Bach flowers sent to you, which a lot of people have a hard time wrapping their mind around that, because we don't go to school and learn about frequency, right? We don't know anything about our bodies. We just think that this is the body and there's nothing else beyond us, whereas there's so much more depth to us. And the Healy helps to reveal that as well. Maybe. Do you think that?
Well, a good saying that unfortunately we're losing a lot of history and things being passed down from generation to generation. But a simple statement from our ancestors, stop and smell the roses. One of the reasons why you stop and smell the roses is because roses have one of the highest frequencies in nature, with an immediate impact into our vibrational field. Now, did they know all that technology back then? No, but they knew that it made the body better. Like with lavender, they knew it had an impact. Now, today, with the technology we have, especially at the quantum level, we can show why these things have the impact they do, because roses vibrate at 300 hertz. That's a great frequency to wipe out viruses and stuff that are down at the 10, 15, 20 hertz level. So stop and smell the roses means a lot. Apples, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Why? Because apples vibrate at a high frequency. They have very good, I call it electroceutical properties to them. So now we can show it. Everything in this universe has a frequency to it. So, it's how many radio stations can you get? It's dependent on where you live, right? The information is there. You just have to tune it in. Are you close enough to get the signal? There's thousands of frequencies. Everything has a frequency. And we can do that with Healy.
Yeah, so that's the beauty of it, right? As Bonnie mentioned, it's portable. So you don't have to go to a practitioner. If you can become more open and in tune with your body, you begin to understand what your body needs. That's what I tell one of my kids. It's like, my body needs this, your body needs that. We have to make sure that our bodies get what they individually need. It's not a one size fits all. Whereas a lot of people think that, oh, you have this, this going on or that going on with your body, oh, that this is what you do. But I have news for all of you out there, that is not what you do. Each one of us requires something different and something specific to us uniquely, which is why I love Healy so much as well. Can use thousands of different modalities, but I feel like, and I've tried so many, and if you can see back here, oh yeah, all these books right over here, these are all my herbal books: aromatherapy, massage therapy, reflexology, Ayurveda. I mean, you name it. I have all of those, and I love all of them, and I'll always incorporate them into my life somehow. But I really feel that they've all led me to Healy. I do. I can't even explain it. I wasn't looking for it. It just presented itself at the right moment. So I'm always thankful for it. Thank you so much, ladies. Is there anything else that you want to share with everybody out there? If you are tuning in, please get back to the person who invited you as well for more information, or put it in the comments and we'll be happy to answer your questions.
Yeah.
But I want to thank you both for your knowledge and expertise. It's always great to hear like different sides of what's going on with people and different perspectives. And everybody, of course, is always entitled to their own opinions, own perspectives. It's just wonderful to meet on a common ground, which is wellness, which is essentially what we all want. We all want to feel good, we want to think good, and we want to be good. So thanks everyone for
Yep.
being here. And it's great to see you.
Absolutely.